In this video, I will be discussing about the linear regression, especially. Okay, in generalized form, we will try to term it as regression. Okay, so why this regression is going to be used, and what are the applications of this regression? What is the basic theory behind this regression? What are the terms which we need to understand in this regression? And we will try to solve some real-time examples which has been I can time it as a case studies which has been published in various good impact factor journals. Okay, let me go into the regression. So the basic definition of this regression is going to be talk about it is going to build a model that predicts the future behavior. For examples, in the stocks markets we are seeing they are going to predict how the company sales are going to be happen, or how the company shares are going to be happen. So it is all about they are going to predict how they have to predict. So definitely they have required some kind of a model. So that model is going to be depend upon two things. One is the case of a dependent variable, that is another one is a case of a independent variable. So dependent variable based on the assumed linear influence of one or more independent variables. So there may be multiple number of independent variables, but dependent variable is directly connecting to these independent variables. So let me take what is this dependent and independent with some simple analogy. So I have to estimate the daily mood of a single individuality, a single person. So for example, if I say in the early morning times, basically the mood will be very cool. Like what I can say that after the sleep, after he has waken from the sleep, he will be getting in a good mood, like there is no burden on him. If he is going to office and all, then there will be some kind of hurry things and all. But if it is in a general a holiday king mood, means the mood is going to be depend upon the climatic conditions which are going to be have a surrounding to us. So if the time is going to be changed, for example sunshine is get into picture, so that the surroundings heat is going to be developed, that is in the form of temperature, the temperature is going to be increased. So definitely the mood of the individual is going to be changed. So here the mood is dependent on the sunshine and the temperature, and this sunshine and temperature are independent, so they will vary with respect to time. So for example, in the early morning the temperature will be around 36 or 34. Maybe if you cross around 9 or 9:30, it may reach to that, depending upon the location, it may reach up to 36 or 38, 39 also sometimes. So that is directly depending upon this mood is directly depending upon the temperature as well as the sunshine rise. So this is a simple analogy. So in every research problem, definitely we will have some dependent variables and some independent variables. So this regression is going to predict the model between the dependent and independent variables. So why the regression is used? So basically, as I have said, that it is used for forecasting the effects, as well as it is used to estimate the strength of various predictors. And one more thing is, in the ANOVA you might be seen about hypothesis. So this is also used for hypothesis testing, whether my model is fitting exactly or not. And one more thing is, it is going to model the causal relationship between the dependent and independent variables. Some kind of empirical model, some kind of mathematical model will be generated from this causal relationships. Next, where it is used. So let me take one more example here. An industrial engineer is going to employ some soft drink beverage bottles for analyzing the product delivery and service operations for vending machines. So you know that in some of the countries we will have some vending machines where once they will install in these vending machines, automatically those bottles we can pay the money, and we can insert the money, and we can get, or we can insert the card and we can get the things. So here one operator will be there for operating this vending machines, and he has to give the products into that vending machine, and one more big company will be there, that is that industrial engineer will be there. He has to check whether the product is delivering to the proper vending machine in time or not, and he is going to analyze the product delivery and service operations. So basically what he will do is, from the factory The time required by a route delivery man to load and service a machine is related to the number of cases of the product delivered. So here, how many number of products, that is how many number of cases this particular delivery man is going to be delivered to that particular location. That is one kind of thing. So what this industrial engineer he will do is, he will randomly visit and collect the data of 25 plants in terms of delivery times in minutes and the volume of product delivered. Okay, so delivery time in minutes from the starting location, at what time he has reached to this particular location, and how many cases he has been delivered to that particular area. So this is one example I am trying to draw an influence. Here I can able to say that if I take on x-axis delivery volume and y-axis delivery time, I can able to get, for example, two products he has been delivered in a time of 8 seconds, or 30 products he has been delivered in a time of 76 minutes. So like that, some kind of random data will be there. But where is the linear? Where is the proper case? Because it is very scattered. Zigzag is there, upside and downside is there. So to avoid such things, I will try to draw some kind of a linear relationship between these things. Like, for example, in location A, he has reached the location A in 10 minutes and he has been delivered 20 cases. And I will draw a mean line. So from that mean line, how much he is deviating, that particular. So if I try to reduce that deviation line, so let me explain. Here you can able to observe. See, this is some random line. Assume that some random line is there with us. So here, whatever the plant A part, like I can say 10 minutes he has delivered 20 products. So from here to here there will be some gap. So this gap has to get reduced and make it linear. Then why he has to do that one? If he is doing that one, then that particular time is getting reduced. Number of products delivering to that particular time is getting reduced, so that the product efficiency will be get increased. Definitely in every case, quality is more important. Time to release into the market has to get reduced. Okay, so that is the case. So here that example plays a better condition. Here whatever the line I am going to draw, that is a very generalized line which is going to term as a linear regression line called as y is equal to mx plus c, a straight line. So you might be known this about y is equal to mx plus c, where x is an independent variable. It is depending upon y. Y is a dependent variable and m is the slope of that particular one, and c is the intercept at where this particular line is going to be talk. So let me go to the step by step how this one is applicable to our problems and all. Okay, next. So understanding regression is more important here. So I will take two examples, independent variable and dependent variable. Independent variable on x-axis, dependent variable on y-axis. Assume that the pot is moving, the red dot is moving linearly on the x-axis. Similarly, the same case, dependent variable are also moving linearly on the y-axis. So both are trying to maintain the distances from origin in linear direction, so that if independent variable is increasing, dependent variable is also increasing. So then definitely we will get a slope which is having a linear relation. Okay, and this is called as a positive slope. Okay, so we are trying to move in a positive direction, going in a high direction. Suppose in the same case we are having dependent variable and independent variable. Independent variable is moving on the x-axis, means it is getting increased, whereas dependent variable is getting decreased. Independent is getting increased, dependent is getting decreased. Then definitely we will have a slope in a negative direction. That is, we are going to be term it as a negative slope, decreasing, because independent is going in an increasing mode but dependent is not following the independent position. Okay, so then we will get the negative slope. So this is the thing. And here if you try to observe, as we have taken this line as a linear straight line, maybe we will get some random points allocated here like this. Some random points we have allocated, some scattered points we have allocated here, and this is the mean line. That black line represents the mean line. So this black line is going to be takes place in between some points of the red, or one point of red has been touched to the black point also. So nothing to worry about here. Here what we have to observe is remaining scattered points, at what distance it is located from the mean line. That the difference between that point to that line is called as an error. Our target in any research problem, we have to minimize that error. If we are minimizing that error, and if it is very close to the mean line, then our experiment is very good, very bestly fitted. Okay, we can write term like that. Next step. So I will take the simple, very basic example for drawing the mathematical calculations, because I am not taking the big numbers. If I take the big number, then the calculation become complexity. Everything will become complexity. So I am taking very basic numbers. Suppose I am having a data like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have to plot this data, X data and Y data. X I am having for 5 population, Y I am having some random numbers, 3, 6, 4, 5, 7. I will locate X at 1, Y at 3. Next, X at 2, Y at 6. I will locate here. Next, X at 3, Y at 4. I will locate it here. X at 4, Y at 5. I will locate somewhere here. Next, X at 5, Y at 7. I will locate somewhere here. Now, for this one, if I try to draw the mean means what? Average of X. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 divided by 5. I will get 3. Similarly, I have to draw the mean for Y. So 3 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 divided by 5, I will get the answer as 5. Now the mean also have to plot here. Mean means here on X axis it is 3, on Y axis it is 5. On Y axis it is 5. Here this will be the center point. The red colored dot is our mean point. If I draw a line, that line is going to be my slope. Okay, straight line. Now I have to calculate what is that intercept. Okay, I have to calculate y is equal to mx plus c. So what is that? M value, slope value. So how much is that slope value? I know that it is 3, 5. Okay, so 3 is x coordinate, 5 is a y coordinate. Then what about the slope? So how to calculate the slope? So this is the formula for calculating the slope. Okay, m is equal to, because y is equal to mx plus c. If I am having 3 variables, y plus mx plus nx, ny, like that, n, slopes are going to be varied. So here, this is the formula. X minus x bar, y minus y bar divided by summation of x minus x bar whole square. Now what is this x bar? So x bar I have to calculate x minus x bar. X bar is nothing but mean. Y bar is nothing but this mean, 5. So 1 minus 3, it is minus 2. 2 minus 3, it is minus 1. 3 minus 3, it is 0. 4 minus 3, it is 1. 5 minus 3, it is 2. Similarly, y minus y bar. How to calculate? 3 minus 5, minus 2. 6 minus 5, 1. 4 minus 5, minus 1. 5 minus 5, 0. 7 minus 5, it is 2. Now, square I have to calculate. X minus x bar square. X minus x bar square. Minus 2 whole square, 4. Minus 1 square, 1. 0 square, 0. 1 square, 1. 2 square, 4. Anything left over here? Anything left over? Yes, exactly. X minus x bar multiplied by y minus y bar I have to calculate. Means this one and this one I have to multiply it. And you calculate the sum also here. The sum of this one is 4 plus 1, 5. 5 plus 1, 6. 6 plus 1, 4 is 10. Next, x minus x bar we have to calculate. Minus 2 into minus 2, 4. Minus 1 into 1, minus 1. 0 into minus 1, 0. 1 into 0, 0. 2 into 2, it is 4. Calculate the sum also here. What is the sum? It is 7. So now you see this particular formula. Whatever the things which we required has been furnished in the tabular column which I am showing above. Is it or not? Now, summation of x minus x bar is 7. Summation of x minus x bar is, I will try to write it here, is equal to 7 divided by, and the summation of x minus x bar is 10. So 7 by 10, it will be 0.7, exactly 0.7 we are getting here. This is the value for m. Next, similarly, I'll keep the same thing as it is, whatever the thing which we have taken. So here mean I have taken y is equal to 5, m I have taken which I have calculated in the previous formula as 0.7, I will take 0.7 multiplied by x mean is 3 plus c. See how I have to calculate. So c is equal to 5 minus 0.7 into 3, I will get 2.9. Now this is my equation. This is my equation. Y is equal to 0.7 into x plus 2.9. This is the model which I have been predicted. Y is equal to mx plus c. Okay. So with this particular model, I can able to predict the remaining things. For whatever the values it may be, I can able to predict. For example, if x is going to be vary from 6, so 0.7 into 6 plus 2.9, I can estimate the y value. So that is the uniqueness of this regression. It is going to predict the future behavior. Next, I'll go with a simple example here again. So my objective is to identify or predict the values of y for x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, x is equal to 3, x is equal to 4, x is equal to 5. You may get into a conclusion that already we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, this has been done from the some random experiment I have done it. Okay, some random example I have done. Now the thing is based upon this particular data, I am going to predict this one. Okay, so how I have to predict this one? So y is equal to 0.7 into 1 plus 2.9. Y is equal to 0.7 into 1 plus 2.9, 3.6. Y is equal to 0.7 into 2 plus 2.9, 4.3. Y is equal to 0.7 into 3, third value, plus 2.95. Like that up to fifth value I have to predict it. So now if I try to look at the previous values, so these are my previous values, black color, 1 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 5. These are my previous values. You can observe here, previous values means this one. These black dots are my previous values. The same previous values I have taken and I have plotted here. Now I am going to predict the new values. So 3.6, 1 on 3.6, 1 on 3.6, we somewhere will get it here. Next, y 2 on 4.3, so 2 on 4.3, somewhere here I will get. Next, 3 on 5, 3 on 5. Next, 4 on 5.7, 4 on 5.7. Next, 5 on 6.4. Now if I try to draw a line, this line will directly go to that particular point and that is going to be termed as a regression line. For every problem, even in the ANOVA also I will show that there will be some kind of a probability line. So that probability line, how much of experimental data is close to this probability line. My objective is this black dots distance is going to be talk about error. This error has to get reduced. Once this error is reduced, then definitely my problem is in a good way. So this is the way we have to follow our regression case. Okay, I think most of the thing you may get some awareness how we are going to generate that particular line. So 5 points we are randomly drawing there. Next, y is equal to 6 I have to take. So here 6 what I will do, 0.7 into 6 plus 2.9, I will get 7. Now I have to go for some 7, 0.7 into 7 plus 2.9, like that I can able to predict it. Now this one, 1 onto 3, 2 onto 6 is the previous one, that is the y predicted, and y1. So y original minus y predicted will give the error. This error should be as close to as 0, as less as value. Even we can take into multiplied by 10%. Here on the second data the error is high, that indicates that the deviation is high. See here the point is here, but the predicted point is here, means deviation is high. But if you observe the fifth point, 7, 6.4, only 9% is there. Only 9% is there. So it should be less than 10%. Okay. Next, what is R square? So most of the cases in the linear regression or multi linear regression, mathematical model, empirical model, in most of the research papers they will going to term one term called as R square, that is called as coefficient of determination. So here one of the variable is predictable from the other variable. So I can able to predict. I am saying that I am going to forecast the next remaining things. Means myself, I am a predictor. So my predictness to what range it is best. Are you getting my point? To what range it is best. So basically I will try to term it as, I will give some 5% exemption. Okay, I cannot predict 100% right. Is it or not? So if you try to look over with the weather forecasting, in the weather forecasting, in most of the television channels or weather forecasting websites, they will try to say that whether the rain today it will be having a thunderstorm, or today it will be having some rain in this particular areas. If it is a cyclone, okay, definitely it will be rain. But if it is not a cyclone also, depending upon the weather conditions, they will try to say that this particular area is going to receive this much amount of rainfall. So that prediction is going to be takes place, one variable is predicting from the other variable, closeness. And small r is talking about measure the strength of the direct relationship between two variables. So this is totally different. R square, there are two types. One is correlation coefficient, the other one is coefficient of determination. One more thing we will be discussing, coefficient, distinguished coefficient. In gradient analysis, we might be discussing about distinguished coefficient also. That is totally different. Okay, you don't mess up with here. Why I am trying to mention this coefficient of correlation means because it is representing with smaller. So many people will be confused here. Capital R square represent for distinguished coefficient of determination. Okay, small r is going to be represent for coefficient of correlation. So this correlation is going to measure the strength between the two variables. Okay, and this correlation coefficient mostly it will be rises from -1 to -1, but the coefficient of determination it will be from 0 to 1 only. Next, coefficient of determination prediction. How we have to predict? So summation of y predicted minus y bar square divided by summation of y minus y bar square. Y mean. So y mean we know it is already 5. Okay. So y predicted is 3.6 minus 5. First we will do y minus y bar square. Okay. So y is 3, predicted is 3.6. So 3 minus y minus y bar means y minus 5. 3 minus 5 it is 2. 2 square is 4. So this table, this column we have taken already from the previous examples, previous tables. So we will forget about this one. Next, y predicted minus y bar. So y predicted is this column and y bar is this one, mean. So 3.6 minus 5, that is 1.96. Somewhere whole square we have to do. And 4.3 minus 5, 0.7 whole square. 5 minus 5, 0. 5.7 minus 5, 0.7 whole square. So like that we have to get the y predicted minus y bar square, and we have to take the sum also. Here the sum will be 4.9. Now you substitute this one here. Is r square is equal to 4.9 divided by 4.9 divided 4.9 divided by 10, we will get 0.49. So 0.49 means it should be very close to 1. It is not excellent fit, it is a good fit, that's all. So excellent fit means it will be as close as 1, like 0.9. Okay, so for now, because I have taken some random data, even in our graph also we can see there is large variance is there. Okay, from the straight line to the curve. So definitely it's not a good fit. We know it's not an excellent fit. We know it already by seeing that particular graph. But R square will say that value is whether we are getting very closer to that particular level or not. So next thing is, I will try to take two real-time examples. One is from the machining process of turning, other one is with respect to Viridium, and then I will try to solve the linear expression in the Excel sheet, because in ANOVA also we can do it. That is in ANOVA area I will do it, but in Excel sheets how we have to do these things, because if we are not having some kind of a DOE or if you are not having some kind of we are not following DOE and all, but we need to get some kind of linear regression, such a kind of things we can use such kind of Excel sheets and all. Okay, let me open the Excel sheet. So this is the research problem. First one is a turning. Okay, so this I have taken from very good journal, only measurement journal, like that. Okay, so this is the turning sustainable machining process. They have conducted some 4 experiments, 4 levels, and they have estimated surface roughness and flank wear. So how we have to estimate this? How we have to find out the linear? Okay, I am talking about linear regression. Okay, I am not talking about non-linear. I am talking about the linear regression, how we have to fit it. And in the next example, I will talk about the non-linear also. For this example, I will fix it for the linear. So this is I have taken from this particular reference. Okay, I will show this is the reference I have taken. Here, the first thing is we have to go to data. We have to go for data analysis. In this data analysis, we have to go for regression. In this regression, press OK. After this regression selection, it will be blank. This all the things will be blank. The first thing is input Y range. Input Y range means my RA is my Y range. So output is Y range. Input Y range means I have to give input for Y, that is output. Okay, don't get confused. So next, input for X range. So input for X range is from cutting speed. All these parameters are input for my X range. Okay, next I have given the labels selection also now. So just select these labels, and confidence level at 95%. Basically it will be at a default 95%. And output range, so where I have to place this output range? So in the same sheet only, from this particular point onwards I need the output range. Then residuals, so residuals also I will tick it. Why these residuals are important for us? Okay, residuals I will tick it. Then press simple OK button. So we have got this multiple regression. Okay, within a seconds we have got. See here, the multiple regression R square is 0.84%. So if you open that particular journal, they also got the same thing. R square is equal to 84% for RA. This is the citation which I have. This is the reference which I am trying to use it. You can also refer it. So R square is 84.2%. The same value I have got here. And here if you go furthermore, these are the coefficients which we need to identify. I will take it separately here. Okay, separately, and this one I will reduce it to 2 numbers, because the same thing the author has been done. That's why not getting so much of confusion here. 1.670, 3 decimal points they have taken. Sorry, 3 decimal points, and this one for 4 decimal points, 0.00769 minus is there, minus. Okay, next 3.76, 3.76, next 0.458 minus 0.458, so minus 0.458. Depth of cut is also same. Next, coolant type 0.1533, 0.1533. The same data set we are having. Here we can able to see the p value also. P value, how it is affecting. So here you can able to see cutting speed is having most significant parameter, followed by feed rate, and depth of cut and coolant type are not significant factors, because they are not less than 0.05. Okay, cutting speed is only the significant factor. Like that we can able to cut to a conclusion. And what is this predicted GRA means? This RA values, experimental RA. So experimentally they have conducted. I have taken their reference from the experiment. See how we will get this predicted RA means. See, we have to. I will try to formulate an equation here. Is equal to this value plus this multiplied by cutting speed, first cutting speed, close the brackets, plus this multiplied by feed rate F value, plus this multiplied by depth of cut, close the bracket, plus this multiplied by coolant type, close the bracket, enter. 1.708, that is what we are getting here, 1.708. okay, so once whatever the model we are getting, in that model if you substitute the input levels, then we will get the predicted, and residuals are very similar. So our original value minus predicted value will get the results 0.412. if you just scroll it up to the down, we will get the same values here, but this is automatically calculated from the linear regression table itself. okay, there I have given a tick mark now in the data analysis. If you see the data analysis tab, here I have given the tick mark residuals, so that's why it is automatically showing to us. okay, so this is the way we have to do it for a turning case. Next I will open the Yredium. okay, one more general paper, some technical paper only published in a good journal, Brazilian Society. So here if I try to see the model, so this model is a totally different case. This is the model. So they have taken T on A, B, C, D, T on T of and current speed and wire speed, T on square, T of square and current square, T on into Ts into T of into I. So if I take A, B, C, D, okay, then my understanding will be easy how they are generating this regression model. So what I will do is I will take this data here. okay, A, B, C, D is there with me, and what are the things I have to include here is A, B, C, D. So here what I will do is A, B, C, D, A square, B square, C square. So what I will do is here I will try to go for inserting one more column. 3 more columns I will insert. I will try to term it as A square, B square, C square. okay, and D square term is not there. okay, so I will go for T on is A, WS is D, A into D, A into D. So I will write A into D. Next one is T of is B, I is C, so B into C. See here you can do it linear equation also. So linear equation is quite similar with I have explained in the turning example. That's why now I am going for non-linear equation. okay, so non-linear equation will have some different set of procedures. So just I am dragging it up to C square, because C square everything is common. A square means this term I am going to take it as a square and drag it up to down. Next multiplied by AD. AD means what? This one multiplied by this one. This factors formulation you might been seen ANOVA case, the orthogonal case, how we have to formulate these things. So depending upon that particular theory, these factorials are going to be formed. okay, here one more extra cell has been, this will be deleted. So now this is the thing. Now what I will do is I will go for data analysis, regression. okay, here I will select unselect all these things. Input Y range is my MRR, I will select, and input X range is these parameters up to A, B, C, D, A to B to C to A, D and to B, C. Open. Next labels, output range, I will try to decide it up here. okay, next residuals, if required you can keep, or not required leave it off. okay, just press OK button. So it will tries to generate one tabular column in the same input range only. Here R square is 0.96, very good fit. The same value here also. No, but they have got 99.2. Whether I will check whether the values are correct or not. 0.249 is correct. 0.029. Hey, there is intercept is missing here. okay, intercept is totally missing here. Actually intercept should be there at the first, no? So maybe they have missed that intercept, but remaining thing 0.029 is correct, 0.02 correct. Next 0.056, 0.083, there is some slight deviation here. Let me see in the table whether they have done some more some other model. maybe I don't know how that model has been generated. That's why I'm here one more model is there. Yes. Here one more model is there. R square is 97%, where they have done for A, B, C, D, A square, B square, C square, A into B, A into C, B into C, B into D. Okay, so what I will do is I will delete all these things because I don't know how that model has been developed, so I am not trying that one. I will go with this A square, B square, A square, B square, C square is there, A into B is there. So I will add one more term here, A into B, and I will try to multiply this one, this multiplied by this A into B. Next I will drag it up to this cell. Next A into B, after A into B, A into C. A into C is also not there. I will add one more term, A into C. So is equal to A is this one multiplied by C is this one, A into C. Drag it up to 16 set of experiments. How many set of experiments they have performed, then think. B into C and B into D, B into C and B into D. B into C is not there, B into C is there, B into D I have to add, but here A into D is there. So I will delete this column. Okay, B into D is equal to B multiplied by D, enter, and drag it up to the last cell. So BC into BD. Yes, everything is correct. See how these terms will affect and all. We have to see the regression analysis. ANOVA or like we will say that influence terms we will keep and non-influence terms we are trying to remove. No, that procedure you can refer. I am going for the regression, and here the input range is here for me MRR, and the in output range and input range is up to BD. I will select all this one and press this one, labels, OK. So summary data exactly next to that one. So 0.97. So here also we are getting 97.1%, and we will see the coefficients, intercepts. Okay, minus 0.016, minus 0.016, plus 0.059, so plus 0.059. Excellent. All the values are whatever the values which we are having in this particular equation has been generated the same as the intercepts. If we try to intercepts, we will take this one and we can able to predict a Sambor model. Here why I have taken only this particular terms, because already I am having the equation with me, that's why I have taken. What this researcher has been done is they have removed the terms which are not influencing that particular thing. So they have removed and they have included only the influencing things. So that's why in the first case we have got some error. That is the thing. So this is the way we have to do it in the Excel for calculation of our linear regression models. Okay, thank you.